Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and today we're taking a look at the 2020 McLaren GT. Now this started production in 2019, it's based on the same platform underpinning the 720S, and it is McLaren's first dedicated Grand Tourer. Now you're probably wondering how they've done that. Well, they've given it new comfort seats, and mostly it's in regards to increasing the storage space. So it has 150 litres at the front, which is a decent amount. But yeah, then due to its carbon fibre rear deck that houses a glazed tailgate, it has 420 litres, plus obviously they've covered up the engine to increase even more space in there. So yeah, that's a pretty decent amount overall, to be honest. So yeah, you've got 570 litres there for whatever luggage you want to take about in. And yeah, they've also done something with the engine itself. So it's a new variant of the 4-litre twin turbocharged V8 engine. It produces 611 horsepower and 464 pounds-feet of torque, but what they've changed on it is give it new smaller turbos, which granted give it lower peak performance, but it gives it better lower RPM performance and responsiveness, which, you know, if you're going to be driving this around on a daily or on a long road trip, then you are going to be doing quite, you know, low RPMs, lower speeds, and you want the performance that you need at those lower end speeds and RPMs to really be rather responsive. And yeah, that's you know, a good idea really, but still 611 horsepower from smaller turbos means that they've done quite a lot of work to keep the power up despite those smaller turbos. And yeah, the interior is as good as ever from McLaren, even if it is, you know, basically the same outside of, you know, the new comfort seats. But one thing I have noticed is that are they cup holders underneath the center screen? Because if they are, then I don't know how you're ever going to get a cup out of there without spilling anything. But yeah, regardless, still nice enough interior, and the car overall looks pretty good as well. Not changed radically at the front, as you can see, but at the rear I do like the new rear, sloping rear, to be honest, and especially the new looking tail lights. It's got nice looking twin exhausts, and yeah, the sloping rear glazed tailgate looks pretty damn good. So yeah, but because of the new comfort seats, the new rear deck and all of that lot, it does weigh a bit more than usual. It now weighs 3,384 pounds, which is about 200 pounds heavier than the, you know, the likes of the 570S or the 600 LT. So there's been a bit of a price to pay with the it going a Grand Tourer, but it's still no doubt going to be a quick car. So yeah, let's get to the drag strip first, and then we'll go on the racetrack and see how quick it actually is. So here we are at the drag strip, so let's see how much speed we can get out of this before we hit the speed camera at the other end. So let's go. So yeah, no doubt still a fast car, still a high revving one as well, despite being a Grand Tourer. And yeah, as you can see, it's getting up to plenty of speed before we hit the speed camera. There's 151.02, which is pretty damn good. So yeah, now let's quickly get to the racetrack and take it around for a couple of laps so we don't get killed by a Celica and a Bronco. And we'll see how it handles in comparison to older but lighter McLarens, because yeah, weight can be a big killer with a supercar like this. And it is still a supercar, even though it is obviously a Grand Tourer. Missed the braking point, could do it. But yeah, still, it's nice to see that they have actually tried to change it and not just, you know, done visual modifications. They've done engine modifications as well to try and make it an easier car to live with on a day-to-day basis. Again, I've missed the braking point, getting a bit too overzealous with the throttle there. So let's go rivals. We're in S1 class, so it's still a high class vehicle, and let's go. So yeah, overall I'm not the biggest fan of this car. But then again, I'm not the biggest fan of McLarens generally. Well, there's only really been, I think, 2 of their recent models that I've properly enjoyed. But this is still a good car, there's no doubt about that. And you know, if you're after a car that is practical but still, you know, got supercar looks and supercar performance, and yeah, this is no doubt going to be a no-brainer for a lot of people, especially of people of a certain golfing persuasion, because yeah, you can fit golf clubs in the back now because of the increased storage space. But still, even though it does weigh more than the usual McLarens, it's still a quick car. 0 to 60 in 2.788 seconds, 0 to 100 in 6.086 seconds, and it will go to a top speed of 206 miles an hour. So yeah, it's still no slouch despite that extra weight, but you can definitely feel that it's got a little bit of extra weight to it when it comes to the handling. It's not quite as obvious in terms of acceleration, but yeah, in terms of handling that extra weight, you can feel it in comparison to the previous McLaren versions that we've had on this game, or on this game series. So yeah, that is a little bit of a worry, but it's not a massive difference. You just can't be quite as confident as usual with it. But I think the engine might well sound a little bit better than the older ones. I'm not sure if that's because it has now smaller turbochargers, which are not, you know, sapping the engine noise away. It definitely feels, sounds a little bit, you know, a little bit more noisy in a good way, especially at the higher RPMs. Which I'm guessing is where the turbochargers are less effective at the higher RPMs now that they've been tuned for lower RPM performance and responsiveness. So yeah, in that regard it's probably a little bit better. And at the end of the day, this is the Grand Tourer, so it's going to be comfortable enough to go hundreds of miles. You can have plenty of space in the front and the rear to take whatever luggage you need. And it's still got, you know, your mad doors, and it's got still the supercar look. So yeah, I think overall they've struck a really reasonable balance between its Grand Tourer, you know, premise and the like, and you know, its supercar, you know, potentials really rather nicely, to be honest. No, I'm not a massive fan of the front look still. It still looks like pretty much every other McLaren we've seen so far. But overall, yeah, still a really rather good balance between Grand Tourer and, you know, supercar performance. So yeah, this is a new car added to the Forza series. We've not had this one before. So yeah, I am glad that they've added another new McLaren, even if it is somewhat like the other ones. But you can definitely tell the differences for good or bad. But yeah, nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.